Hello everybody, you are looking at our new purchase right behind me, so let's get right into this and take a look at it. This is a Rogator 1254. I do not remember the year right offhand. I believe it's like an 01 or a 02, something like that, but this thing is in real nice condition aside from the peeling on that decal. That's about the only thing that's really cosmetically bad about this, but the other side looks good. We may pick a decal up and redo that one, but this has all brand new tires on it as of last year. This one is 2 years old, but not a big deal, not a big difference, I mean. But these are 12 ply tires, heavy duty sprayers tires, so they ride down the road real nice and stiff and don't give you any sway side to side. This is air ride, so this is just set up like a semi with airbags on every wheel, and they do deflate when it's not running, just like a typical semi. It's got its fair share of little air leaks here and there that make the airbags deflate kind of quick. But came with an inductor, so this inductor just flips down right here and you flip it open. Just like here. They always mix their AMS there. As of right now, I'm planning on doing all the chemical mixing with this inductor. We do have one laying around. We'll see what it'll take to get it set up, but yeah, that's the inductor. Got valve system here to turn it on and everything. Right there, brand new pump as of this spring. The previous owner, they had it out and they had a late freeze and the sprayer was sitting outside and it blew the pump apart, so they had to put this one on. 3-inch fill, huge series of valves here. There's a chart there that tells you what everything does. The sparge, which is just your agitation, and your reload, not sure what that does, wasn't in the manual, can't figure that out so far. That is all controlled in the cab, but there are levers out here to control it, but they are valves that can be controlled in the cab and out here. You have this, which goes up there into the tank, I believe. That is just a rinse line, and it's for pulling rinse water out of your rinse tank and running it up into your big tank. You have this line, which just comes over here to a pressure nozzle, so you can spray stuff out and stuff on the sprayer for rinsing out jugs and stuff above your thingy. This is to fill your rinse tank with just a regular garden hose, and you can also run to this banjo fitting back here. That'll fill it with a, I think that's a 1.5 or 1.25 banjo fitting back there. So that is kind of your array down here. Ladder folds up manually and latches into just like a door latch, but this is bent, this little eyelet right here, so it does hit right now, so that doesn't fold up at the moment, but it will shortly. And then 80-foot booms on this with folding tips that go up and out instead of around, which is fine. There's a company that makes extensions to go to a 90-foot boom, which we are looking into because we have a 12-row planter. This would match up with an 8 and a 16-row planter, but 12-row planter, we're not going to be able to follow our planter tractor tracks with this specific sprayer. It has a foam on it, but the owner before us and the previous owner before that never used it, so it would need all new hoses, a whole new system for that to work. It's got a safety wheel on this side so that you can't hit the ground at least real hard with the boom. It doesn't have it on the other side. We're looking at getting a good set of those as well. This has no guidance whatsoever. They ran an ag leader monitor in it before us, but they took all that out for their new sprayer. So we were looking into getting just a cheap light bar system with a coverage map so that we can see where we've been to turn sections off, and then also just to stay straight and not waste a lot of chemical on overspray. Battery compartment, it's got a battery disconnect switch in that door. It's got a straight vertical mast. This is pretty much like a forklift mast. The hydraulic cylinders are inside these tubes, and it just lifts it up and down. It's got 3 screens along the back, one for the middle and one for each side boom. Got plenty of storage on the outside of this. Hydraulic systems here. It's got a fuel tank on each side that are intertwined, and you can fill off of either side, which is really convenient. Here, stack there, along with muffler along there. Doesn't hinder any visibility in the cab, which is really awesome. It's got good lighting. Haven't used it at night, but all the lights do work and they're in good locations. It's got nose lights, these lights on the back of the cab pointing out and straight back. All the hazards and turn signals work too. You'd think that's got to be a given, but we have a lot of machinery where that stuff doesn't work, and we just don't make a big deal out of it because we're never on main roads with anything. Hand wash station, that's not standard, it was added by somebody. And you have a remote throttle, which does not work at the moment. We'll try and figure that out, maybe. And then got a remote pump, which does work, so I can turn the pump on from down here. And now we'll hoist ourselves up the ladder. We're gonna look back first. This is a 1,200 gallon stainless steel tank, along with a rinse tank. Do not know how many gallons that is. It is pretty big though. So you get a lot of good rinses out of that. There's some water in here. We got it back here to the farm on Friday, so 2 days ago. So had some water in it, and we ran the booms and everything. Everything worked really well. So now to the back of the sprayer. You got room to walk around the other side, along to the tank, to the back of the cab. That's as far as that goes. And you got room to service the hydraulics, the flow sensor, everything back here. Your fuel fill for this side is right here in the floor pan, and then you can get into the cab right here. So cab is in really good condition. I've seen a few cabs from these sprayers that aren't, and yeah, this is definitely one of the nicer ones I've seen. So you got your digital display on the left and right. This one is customizable, what shows up on it. This one's just your typical warning lights and all your gauges and everything. Yeah, this is to bring your steering wheel up and down tilt wise, and then you can loosen this knob and extend it and retract it. Your parking brake, you flick this little lever on top or here to disengage it. So push it like that. Can be a pain sometimes, and if you flick this like that, then this will just be a brake. It recommends in the manual not to use it as a brake, so then you flick that over and it becomes a park brake again. This just has an old Raven rate controller, an SCS 661. Watched a really good video on YouTube because there is no manuals for these whatsoever, and figured out how to use this very well. It's got 2 different automatic rates you can run that are customizable, and then you can just flick it to manual and run whatever rate you want to run through it at the moment. But right now rate 1 is 12 gallons an acre and rate 2 is 15. Probably going to be changing that to 10 and 15, I would imagine. The burn down that I'm going to be running is a 10 gallon an acre rate for water, and then the Liberty for beans is 15, and I'm not sure about the corn chemicals yet. Haven't looked into that. But along the top of the cab here, we have all our lighting controls, and then our warning lights, our hazards, and a beacon. This does not have a beacon, which is disappointing, but you know, it's not a deal breaker. Windshield wiper fluid. I don't know if this has a washer fluid reservoir. I didn't look for that. AC and heat. The heat doesn't work in here, but we didn't think that was a big deal breaker. And heat system's pretty simple, so we can diagnose that and fix it if we want to. Radio, original, so it's got a cassette player. 4 speakers all the way around the cab, which are nice. It's got a storage here with the cup holders. Manuals are in there. Air ride seat like the Combine. Nice backing on the seat too, so it's real comfortable. This is your stick, control stick, so forward, backwards. All these green levers, push it forward so it's easier to see. All these green levers are your section controls. So you have your tips, your left and right main boom, and then your just in the back, your main. And then I do not know what this does. It has something to do with these controls back here, but it's not enabled can't find anything in the manual on that as well, so got some more research to do on that. This is your lift for each side of your boom. So you have your main mast that goes up and down, but each individual boom can raise up and down on both sides of your sprayer. That's what these control. That's what you'll be moving the most in the field to keep your booms from hitting the ground in different places. This is your main shutoff for your booms, so you can leave all these on, and if you're coming into a headland perfectly straight, you just hit that, and that'll turn your booms off and on. On the back of the stick here, we have 2 buttons. This is your gear shift buttons. You have a 4-speed transmission, so you can shift up and down with those buttons. I don't know right offhand what the speeds are for each gear, but first does get pretty good. It's up to like 8 or 10, I think. 4th gear is your road gear. This does 30 miles an hour going down the road, so nice and fast, which is good. Because even though it was going 30 miles an hour, we still had a 2.5-hour drive home with this thing the other day. So if it didn't go that fast, it would have been a miserable ride home. You got your hydraulic lockout. That's for all your hydraulic accessories. It still moves with this off. It just won't do any of your hydraulics. This is your pump, your PSI, your bar PSI, which this has 2 bar PSIs. There's one right here and one up there. Don't know what the difference is, but yeah, if somebody could tell me some of this stuff. Got your key here. You got 2 12-volt outlets right here. This is for your foam, which nobody used. This is your main mast up and down. This is to unfold your main booms, your tips. This is to move each wheel out. Oh, forgot to mention, each wheel has a hydraulic cylinder to move it in and out of the machine. So that's where you control it there, and then you can lock them in place with this lever. This, don't know what that does either. Yeah. And then this stuff. This is to kill your... It screws something up with your rate. The previous owner said he had to call the dealership out to fix something. His rate controller and his sprayer wasn't working right, and they just had to flip that switch on and it fixed it. This is your universal power connector for different monitors and stuff. And like I said, this wavy symbol thing, I don't know what that does. And these 2 switches, I also don't know what they do. They weren't in the manual either. So then down here, this is that thing called a reload down there, and then this is your sparger or your agitator valve. So you flip that forward, that turns on the agitator. Flip it back, turns it off. And throttle right here, so it's just a simple flip forward, flip back. It's either a 4 or 5 stage. Couldn't tell you exactly. I've just been flicking it up to where I need it and back down. I haven't been counting the thing. So this is the cab basically. Got good mirrors on both sides and good visibility all around. So that is our new sprayer. Gonna be using it here in the next coming week, spraying some burn down on some hay fields and some wheat stubble, and then I'll show you guys that in action when we get to it. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know about this stuff that I don't know anything about if you guys run a Rogator, and then let me know what you want to know more about on this. Oh, it has a Cummins 6-cylinder diesel motor in it. Didn't mention that either. So 39,000 miles, 4,600 hours. It is a tight running sprayer. It does good. I just ran it down the road and unfolded it in the field to run the booms out. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.